What's going on, sports fans? Welcome to another edition of Cuesta Dos. I'm Alex Cuesta. As always, with me is my brother David Cuesta. What's up, David?
Oh, what's up?
You're just gaining your composure there because you were just cracking up hysterically before we started recording, and you were about to ruin the start of the recording.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
It would have been awful. But we're not doing video this week, so anyone that liked the video last week, sorry.
We're going too soon. I just need to get a room situated.
Yeah, David sucks. But what we are going to do is we have a bunch of topics to go through, and we're doing this a day late. We're doing it on a Monday instead of a Sunday, which gave us a chance to add a few more topics. So we have an absolutely packed show, and we're going to get right to it. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty, and we're going to start talking some sports. First thing we're going to talk about is something that I'm pissed off about. So in the games, football games yesterday on Sunday, during the Raiders-Colts game, Vontaze Burfict, who is a known mauler and abuser of rules in the NFL, launched himself into tight end Jack Doyle after he made a catch. Helmet to helmet, Doyle's hurt. Everyone expects Burfict to be ejected, fined, whatever. And suspended. He did get a year suspension. I have no problem with the year suspension for Vontaze Burfict. The guy's had enough chances. If they decide to throw him out of football, it's not a loss.
His career merit is his suspensions.
Yes. So it's really not a loss. Now, what pisses me off is on the same Sunday, the same grouping of games, the Patriots and Bills are in the middle of a pretty good game. And, well, good by the standards of it was close in terms of football. It was bad.
I mean, it was a fighting game there.
It was terrible. But the Bills are playing the Patriots tough, and this could be a moment that changes the absolute game, and it was a moment that changed the game. Josh Allen wasn't having a great day, the quarterback of the Bills, but he's the leader of that team. He was running to make a play, was getting tackled by one of the Patriots defensive backs on his way down, and coming in from the side is, let me get this Jamoke's name real quick. Coming in from the side, hitting him is Jonathan Jones, another defensive back for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Helmet to helmet, and clearly contact helmet to helmet, bad contact, where you knock Josh Allen out of the game. There was no ejection, no suspension is expected. He's maybe going to get fined. It was flagged for unnecessary roughness, and now Josh Allen's in the concussion protocol. I'm sorry. Being a conspiracy theorist is stupid, but how many times are the Patriots going to get these types of breaks before we start really calling them out for it? And before they get held accountable? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, almost any person that gives a helmet to helmet nowadays, you're going to see usually that one was pretty bad. I'm not going to lie to you. So you'd think at least it seemed like suspended for a game or two.
Yeah, he should be suspended because by the letter of the law. Now, granted, I think all of these ticky-tacky rules are stupid. Let him play football. But if you're going to play the game the way it's being played, that has to be called. He has to be ejected because I get it. He didn't launch. But how, Josh Allen was already getting taken down, and he clearly led with the crown of his helmet, where if I look at Vontaze Burfict's hit, he looked like he was trying to lead with his shoulder more in his helmet, and the helmet-to-helmet contact happened because Doyle was tucking. So there's more to be defendable for Burfict in this situation than there is for Jones. And a lot of Bills players were pissed about it, David.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Micah Hyde was one that talked about it.
Yeah, he said if we did that to 12, then we'd be getting ejections and suspensions.
Oh my God, they might be out of league if they did that to 12, honestly. But also 12 wouldn't be running like that.
No, he wouldn't. But, there's always the joke that I say, and I think it's true. Whenever you watch a Patriots game, especially in the AFC East teams, they love making sure that the Patriots have control of these games from start to finish. It's kind of you did something that the Patriots might not like, flag. Let's change that. Because the Bills could have gained momentum. If Josh Allen would have gotten a first down there, who knows? It was such a tight game. But now you knock this guy out, and you only give them 15 yards for knocking out their leader. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of got away with the one right there. They really did. Like I said, the fine obviously is going to happen. I would think a suspension of one game would happen. I feel like it's not unfair to be saying that with the way we've been doing things in the NFL. I don't know. Maybe it's unfair because whatever other reason, but I just don't see the reason why it would be. Like, it just call it the way you've been calling it. You set this standard, so run it by it.
And the bottom line is, and unless you are a Patriots fan, the rules are different for the New England Patriots. They always have been, except for when it comes to deflating balls and getting caught. They're only not different when they get caught. They are very different. We can go back to the Tuck rule, this play, and many other times where they've gotten away with nonsense. So, I don't know. I guess when Belichick and Brady retire, the Zebras will stop making a lot of money off their games because I'm convinced that Belichick gives them endorsement money to keep them in the winning. Because
I don't know about that one. I don't know about
theory
that.
101, baby.
Yeah, that 100% is conspiracy theory 101.
Well, Goodell, look into it.
Well, apparently Goodell does hate the Patriots if you talk to any Pats fans. So
yeah, so much. Stupid Pats fans.
All right. Well, while we're talking about companies and leagues hating their players, let's talk about the NCAA. California signed their bill into law to get players paid for their likeness. Gavin Newsom did sign the bill, basically going completely against the NCAA, saying, "Okay, you guys are running this completely wrong," and they're allowing college athletes to hire agents and make money from endorsements. I love this. I personally love this because, like we've said before on this program, college athletes have every right to make money off of their own personal marketing, off of their own image.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's really nothing wrong with saying that. I don't understand what would be wrong for saying that someone should get money from their own likeness.
I don't think there's anything wrong. And one thing to put in, if someone's just reading this headline and goes, well, what if the team wears Nike and this person gets an Adidas scholarship or Adidas, endorsement. It is in the law that you cannot go against your school's endorsement. So if you are an Adidas team and you get a Nike endorsement, you can't wear your Nike stuff during that game.
Yeah.
When you're doing a team function, you follow the team rules.
Well, no, and that's just like every other league.
Yep. Yep. I think it's fantastic. California is on the right side with this one. I really love what Gavin Newsom in California did. And the NCAA is just fearing that they're not going to have the immense control that they've had throughout history. And it's about time to shake it up. I'm happy about it.
No, it really is, because the NCAA, they've been way too wild with this nonsense and how they're controlling play. Because anytime a player could have a good chance at a big league and they get injured, they literally get nothing from all the effort and all the money they basically gave to that school. Like all the money that they rolled in because of how well they played. And if they get injured and they end up not having a career because of it, everything that they did, hopefully they had a good education. Hopefully they had the time for that. And they were able to make something out of it. But like all the money that they got for that school is gone for them.
Now, some other facts about this bill that's interesting is they've delayed this bill for 3 years being put on the floor.
Yes.
The NCAA has known about it for 3 years. So they have had time now to get their act together. Mm-hmm. And it's also not going to be implemented until 2023.
Yes.
So the NCAA, instead of complaining, now has ample time to figure out a way to now work with California and now make this a national thing. Stop making South Carolina have to do a bill or New York have to do one of the worst bills of all time. And I think Nebraska is trying to do, or one of these is trying to do a dumb bill where it will come out of a tax, like the school will get to choose whether or not to get the tax break or let the players go off their likeness. No. Don't bring tax money in. Stop that. Don't bring any taxpayer money in. California, which is a state known for sucking taxpayers dry, for once is leaving the taxpayers alone. They're doing it right.
They're doing it completely right. I don't see almost anything wrong with this bill. Of course, I haven't read the bill, but for everything that's coming out, I don't see anything wrong with what they're trying to do for these players.
So you would fit well in Congress, because it seems like Congress doesn't read any bills either.
I mean, you're not wrong.
What was it famously the quote? We're going to have to pass it before we know what's in it.
That's fair.
I'm not going to get political here, but it was a fun little aside to poke at politicians because that's always good. But Overall, this is an awesome bill. I know South Carolina has one on the way that's very similar, if not the same. Apparently, the lawmaker, the senator in the state senator of California has been getting phone calls from other state senators in other states. Basically, they want to get this bill in their hands so they can read it and they can kind of fit it to their constituency in their state. I think if enough states do this, the NCAA has to bend, and I hope it gets done within these next 3-year time frame. So the NCAA has to make a shotgun decision and just let it go.
I don't know if they're going to want. I want to say they're going to because it's for the better that they bend, but I don't know if the NCAA is going to want to bend. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, we're sorry, and there was 2 things that I read. I was reading an article, and Herm Edwards, who is former NFL player, former NFL head coach, and now the head coach at Arizona State, is concerned that with California having this, they have a recruiting edge because now players can get paid.
Oh, 100%.
But the flip side, there's also a flip side here where the Pac-12, I think it's the Pac-12 president, is concerned that his schools might get shut out of NCAA competition come 2023. So he sees it as the opposite, where teams might not schedule them, they might not play them because NCAA might not sanction their games and their events. So this is going to be a battle, and I think as we come closer to 2023, this is going to be something to definitely watch. And if more states get on board and do this the right way, not the New York way, don't do it New York. Again, reiterate, the New York way is taxpayers have to pay for kids getting paid. No, you're stupid. But do this the right way, and if more states get involved, it'll force the NCAA to make either push out 6, 7, 8 states of competition or let it happen.
Nah, I think it's gonna go California's way. I think more states are going to get involved because honestly, if you're on social media, if you see this, there's been consistent push for at least the likeness people are pushing for, and I think it's going to happen because it makes logical sense for people to get paid off their likeness, and more states are just going to be like, listen, we have to do this. We have to.
And we always talk about LeBron getting involved in these types of things. What do you know? Gavin Newsom signed it on the Undisputed with LeBron sitting right next to him. So LeBron's do you think LeBron's ever going to get into politics?
I don't know if he wants to. He might.
Does.
I mean, he kind of does, but I don't know if he wants to actually get into politics. There's a difference between making some movements in politics and doing some things, but actually getting into it is throwing yourself into an alligator pit. So I don't know if he wants to do that. I really don't. I think he likes having his school. I think he likes doing these things, but I don't think he wants to actually get into politics.
I think LeBron could beat the hell out of some alligators. Not going to lie. Bare knuckle, just start punching them in the face.
He might get through a couple. It'll be tough.
I think he would. He would take down a few of them before they took him down.
Yeah.
Speaking of LeBron, they just ESPN recently just released, I think this is their 9th year in a row of doing their NBA top 100 players incoming into the next season. And I'm just going to go through the top 10. And you're going to see the disrespect if you haven't seen this already. Number 10 is Paul George, and what a story he's become coming back from his gruesome injury. Who knew he was ever going to come back to that?
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Dame Lillard. Man's getting some respect. Number 8, Joel Embiid. I'd like to see him play 82 games before he cracks the top 25. Number 7, Nikola Jokic. I love it. Number 6, Steph Curry. Cool. Number 5, Anthony Davis is good. 4, James Harden, if he plays defense, could be in the top 3. Number 3, LeBron James, for the first time since this has started, is not number 1.
Yep.
And rounding out, number 2 is Kawhi Leonard, because it seems like everyone remembered this guy was really good at basketball before his injury. And number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Dave, give me your feelings on the top 10.
I disagree. I do like Paul George being number 10. He was insane for the Thunder before the shoulder injury. He was in the MVP talks during the year before the shoulder injury. I think he deserves it, especially his comeback. Dame, I'm happy to see get recognition at number 9. 8, I mean, I understand your reasoning. You want to see Joel play the whole time. You really do. But his ability, if he does play the whole time, he's probably higher than 8. So I understand what you're saying.
That about a lot of guys that if they
career,
Blake Griffin's a top 10 player every year.
But listen, Blake has done a lot for himself. I think he's underappreciated, especially with him able to get his jump shot down. He is doing great for himself, and I think he's underappreciated. But I also know exactly how much of a force Joel Embiid can be, both offensively and defensively. He is one of the biggest X factors in a game. His biggest problem is being healthy. And I mean, I know your best ability is your availability.
Yep.
But I think it's deserving for him to be 8, seeing as how they were just as close as going to the finals off of a couple bounces on the rim. And probably beating the Bucks. I mean, that was a great Sixers team, and Joel is the focal point of that Sixers team.
But I don't give awards for potential, so I'm sorry.
I understand it. But we agree to disagree. Nikola, number 7. I love that. Yet again, another guy who deserves the recognition. Nikola Jokic is disgusting. If you watch basketball, you know how good he is. Number 6, Stephen Curry. Steph deserves it. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be known as the best shooter of all time by now. And he might be even better than sometimes what people put him as, because I feel like people have been disrespecting him a little bit more now since KD went to the Warriors. But I digress. 5, Anthony Davis. He deserves it for the kindergarten class that he's been playing with over at Pelicans, other than Drew Holiday. He needs to get his respect, but other than Drew Holiday, it's been an awful time over there.
Tyreek Evans was good for him as a scorer.
Yeah, but Tyreek's still tired. Like, he wasn't ever panned out.
No.
So Anthony Davis did extremely well for the Pelicans while over there, and you can see how good he is. He can do whatever he wants on the court. And James, number 4, I think he's deserving there. I mean, I know he doesn't. He stepped up his game for defense a little bit. I know he doesn't play great defense.
What, he took one step to either side before giving up? That's stepping up your game.
But his ability to score at will is insane. I mean, the biggest thing is he really hasn't gotten it done as much in the playoffs. He has gotten a little shy in the playoffs sometimes, but he has been great consistently. Scoring.
Shy, he just hasn't gotten ticky-tacky calls, which is why he's not getting 40. He's getting 22. That's what it is. He doesn't get to the line 33 times a game.
That's fair. But, I mean, that one game Game 7 against the Warriors, where the whole Rockets team missed, 27 open threes? He had a couple of those. You know that. So, things have happened. But he deserves number 4 spot.
I can give that to him. All right. Now we'll talk top 3. All
right. Top 3. First off, I feel like number 1 after last season should not be Giannis. It should be Kawhi. It's either LeBron or Kawhi. And unfortunately, listen, if you're gonna if you're gonna say Joel shouldn't be 8 because he's been injured so much, LeBron was injured last year. He still had a very good season, but he was injured last year, and the Lakers didn't even make the playoffs.
LeBron was injured one year, the year before he played 2 straight games.
No doubt, but this is a ranking coming off of last season, so we need to take that into account. And I think it would be fair for Kawhi to be 1, even though it's a lot of load management for Kawhi, but for Kawhi to be 1 and LeBron or Giannis, I feel like LeBron should be 2 because overall ability, and Giannis should be 3. Yeah, Giannis was the MVP, but I personally thought James Harden should have been MVP because of what he could do on the floor. Like, Giannis had a much better team around him. But I feel like Kawhi should definitely be 1 because what he was able to do with a very good Raptors team, but no one expected Pascal Siakam to come out. And I mean, he willed that team a bunch of times to win games in the playoffs and win that finals.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the greatest buzzer beaters of all time with that bounce and that fadeaway 3 that he hit. That was unbelievable. Now, I agree dropping Giannis to 3. I think, and I hate the recency bias on all of this type of stuff. And this also fits into Kawhi, because we're all sitting there going, Kawhi's the best now. And it's like, no.
When people forgot about him before, I know.
Kawhi was a top 3 player on the Spurs. Mm-hmm. No one just noticed, because he was playing such a quiet style on that team. But I would still put LeBron as number 1, just because he is by far the most talented. I still think he's on an island on his own. People are like, no, he took a step back. Yeah, LeBron taking a step back is still the best player on the planet. Like, stop it. Stop. Now, question, where does a healthy KD fit onto this list? Because he was obviously excluded.
healthy KD is probably top 3, maybe even number 1, depending on how well of a year he had. Because KD is going to end up being. When I said Steph is the best shooter ever, KD may end up one of the best scorers ever.
Michael Jordan will have something to say about that.
He will have something to say about that, but I don't know if you could do anything about KD's size and his ability to hit from anywhere on the court. Anywhere on the court. Michael Jordan, still arguably the greatest of all time, no matter what, even against the most fervent LeBron fans. But he made his living off of inside the paint. Not inside the paint. He made his living off of inside the 3-point line, which is fine. That's basketball. But KD can make his living inside the 3-point line and outside the 3-point line with barely any movement and how well he can shoot it. The man is a monster. And with that size, it's unfair because you can't play good defense on him.
I agree. I think KD would be right up there and definitely top 5, top 3. Now, I'm going to talk about real quick before we move on to the next topic. I'm going to name the players 15 to 11, and I want you to give me the one guy, not more than one guy that could jump into top 10. So 15 is Ben Simmons. Mm-hmm. 14 is Rudy Gobert, which I love that he's up there.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's up there.
13 is CJ McCollum, better known as Stefan Urkel. 12 is Uncle Russell Westbrook. And 11, surprisingly for me, is Kyrie Irving. Now, give me your one guy that could jump into that top 10.
Okay, now you may not like me for this one, but I'm going to go with Ben Simmons. The number one reason why, if Ben Simmons can hit 3-pointers with any kind of ability, just any kind of consistency, not only does he open up the floor for himself, but he opens up the floor for his whole Ben Simmons hitting 3-pointers, there's a reason why you can clown him a little bit, because a man really doesn't have that much of he doesn't seem to have that much of a jump shot. But if he's out there hitting threes, hitting long twos, hitting 18s, you're looking at one of the scariest things we might ever see in a basketball. His ability to drive is already one of the most fearsome things in the league for the Sixers. But adding that to his game, because that's the one thing he's been missing this whole time, adding that to his game brings him to a level that is terrifying for the rest of the league.
You ready to be surprised? I 100% agree with you.
I was going to say, you got it.
Out of those 5 guys, if he can just have the threat of a 3, he doesn't even have to hit a lot, but the fact that he can make them, we're looking at possibly the best player in the NBA. Yeah. LeBron 2.0 type of guy and the best player on the Sixers. He is a 3 away from being better than Joel Embiid. He really is.
Which, you know what, honestly, it hurt me because then we were playing the Sixers last year in the playoffs, the Nets. And it hurt me watching Ben Simmons not be able to hit a 3, mainly because, I want to win against them, but I also want to see great players be great. And it's like, my man, people are legitimately disrespecting you and walking away from you when you're on 3-point
what
line.
hurt me with the Nets last year in that is because they were giving him a lane to drive every time. Yeah. And he started going, okay, I'm not going to shoot. I'm just going to drive because that's my best part. And I'm sorry. I love Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, D'Angelo Russell, even all those guys, any of the bigger guys. But if anyone gives Ben Simmons 3 steps, he's going to score at will, and he did.
Yeah, that's true. But if he just had a 3, we're not even giving him those steps, and then he's driving by you. See, that's the thing. If you have the 3, you're either adding the 3 to your score, or you're adding a 2, possibly plus 1. So it hurts to watch him not go for the 3, because you know how great he can be.
So Ben Simmons, without a 3, just natural development, I still think he's maybe 8 or 9 by next year.
He might be even without a 3, which is, yet again, terrifying.
And I must also say, I hate all of you Philadelphia fans, so I don't want that to happen. We love you.
Weren't they angry at Ben last year in the playoffs?
They're angry at anybody. They threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
That's very true. All right, but we're going from one top 100 to another top 100 here.
Which is terribly difficult to find. NFL, okay. I swear to God.
It's the NFL top 100 plays of all time. I want to let everyone know, in order to find this, you need to go to NFL 100, NFL.com. It's going to have the greatest games up right now because that's what they're doing. It's a drop box. You have to click on it and go to greatest plays. My brother and I are a little dumb, and we couldn't figure that out at first.
No,
we were
the
like,
website's a little dumb.
We were like, how did they not have this up? We found it. It's all right. But we're only going to go over the top 10. I have them all up. I'm going to call them out to you. I want you to know what you think after I'm done. After I'm done with all 10. All right. All right. Number 10, Philly special. Philly. Something that I personally loved watching. 9 was the Minneapolis Miracle. Another great play that I loved watching. 8, Bart Starr's QB sneak in the Ice Bowl. Much deserved. 7 is the Immaculate Interception, Steelers versus Cardinals.
Yep.
Which insane. Number 6, same exact Super Bowl, the San Antonio Holmes catch, Tony toe tap in the back of the end zone. Number 5, Malcolm Butler interception against the Seahawks, the Patriots sealing the deal when Pete Carroll could have just ran the ball. Number 4, Music City Miracle for Tennessee. Number 3, the David Tyree helmet catch, which everyone remembers. I don't even need to bring up what Super Bowl, honestly. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is the catch, Joe Montana to Dwight Clark. Everyone should at least know that if you're an NFL fan.
Yep.
Number 1, something that has sealed the deal for me for saying the Steelers are the luckiest franchise in NFL history, the Immaculate Reception. What do you think of that top 10, brother?
I see a lot of recency bias. And again, I'm a big hater of recency bias, but it's tough. These lists are so tough.
Yeah, I think this is definitely really tough.
It's just tough to debate and argue because it's very, you could put panels, you can make lists, but it's just so tough to sit there and say what's the best. Now, Philly definitely deserves a spot. I think it should be higher. I love Philly. Just the balls it took to run that play.
Yeah.
I think the Minneapolis Miracle's too high. I don't think it deserves to be top 10. I think it's a great play. Great play. I don't think it's top 10. Bart Starr's QB sneak in the Ice Bowl, fantastic. Just throw that homage in there. The Immaculate Interception, I love because Harrison just rumbling, stumbling, bumbling down the sideline. Amazing. Even though I wanted to see the Cardinals win that one, I think even Steeler fans were kind of sad for Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Legend deserves one.
Yes. Number 6. Interesting. I saw something I'm in a Facebook group with a bunch of big time sports fans that all debate, and it's no hold barred. They found a picture with Santonio Holmes.
Oh my God!
Left foot on top of his left. That catch doesn't count. It does not count.
Okay.
So that should be eliminated because the play should be taken back and the Super Bowl gone.
Okay, wait. Can I have a little aside to that? Okay, so funny enough, Joe Hackett from the Playbook, also under Sports Opinions umbrella. You guys may have heard him. Hopefully you have heard him. Go listen to that show. He said after the top 100 that the Santonio Holmes catch should be number 2 and that the catch shouldn't be number 2. It should be switched. There should be number 6. And I said, well, Joe, you know why it's number 6 instead? Because Santonio Holmes didn't catch the ball. I was just messing with him. Yep. And, it's really funny because I went and looked this up before, and there are so many people that are completely convinced that he did not catch that ball. I mean, I can't call it. The history is the history. The Steelers won that Super Bowl, so at this point, you can't really complain. But I just think it's hilarious that this is still being debated.
So I'm calling it because Santonio Holmes didn't do as much as I wanted him to for the Jets, so that should be eliminated. It's gone. Malcolm Butler's interception in Super Bowl, I think that should be eliminated just off the fact that Pete Carroll's an idiot. It was a great play. It was a great play, but it was a play that's preventable.
Yeah, and I don't think that's number 5, honestly.
No, that's just because Robert Kraft and NFL feels bad for just burning the Patriots. Music City Miracle, I think could be up there. You could debate that as number 1, even though it wasn't a Super Bowl play. My God, it was just a fun play. And Buffalo fans, earmuffs, it was so good to watch Buffalo go down because they were still riding high that year. So, but I'm so happy it happened to Buffalo. So the top 3, yes, the Immaculate Reception is considered the greatest play of all time. I think if you go with any of these being the greatest play of all time, you would not be wrong. David Tyree's catch, we forget he was up against the best safety in the league at the time in Harrison.
Yes.
And that was a play that Harrison makes 10 out of 10 times. And it just happened that it didn't happen there. Like, that shouldn't – and David Tyree's not a talented wide receiver in terms of NFL standards.
I think David Tyree was on the team the year after. Like
Exactly. And, and it's – funny because a lot of Giants fans will go, yeah, that's one of my favorite plays, but his throw to Mario Manningham and that catch was probably better. And so it's like,
oh yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I love that play. I think it's a great play and it's fine being there. My favorite play is definitely number 2. I think number 2 should be number 1. Joe Montana's throw to Dwight Clark. He got up like 73 feet in the air to make that catch.
Yeah.
So I love that play. And it sealed Montana's perfect record as a Super Bowl champion.
Yep.
So, these lists are fun. Like I said, they're ultimately super difficult, and Santonio Holmes' needs to never count.
Okay, wait. But can I throw in 2 more things about this list?
Let's go.
All right. 1, I want to give a shout-out. Number 13 was Marshawn Lynch's Beastquake. That was one of my favorite things to watch live. Him running through the whole Saints, and then the whole video, I'm sorry, I can't remember who made the video, with dubbing over to Marshawn Lynch run, but that is one of the best viral videos I've ever seen. It's historic play. I love it at 13.
I think it was also the same guy that did the voiceover for Greg Jennings with
the injury. Yes, for the Madden game.
The whole team on his back. Never seen a dude do that before.
Hardest hitter in the league, Darren Sharp. Anyway. Also, second thing, not gonna lie to you. Number 9, Minneapolis Miracle. To me, since I've been alive for a short 23 years, it is one of my favorite plays, if not my favorite play I've ever seen. Because just watching that live and watching that happen with no one could have called that. And it was electrifying. Like, I felt things that I haven't felt in a while watching the Minneapolis Miracle. And I'm not a fan of the Vikings, and I don't hate the Saints. I like Drew Brees a lot. I want him to win, but it was out of this world. So honestly, I think it deserves to be at number 9, mainly because, I haven't been alive for a while. So and I got to watch that, and it was amazing. But that's just me.
I mean, I could dig it. I like it. Yeah. All right, moving on. We got to do a little run here, David. We're going pretty long. We got to pick up the pace.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. We're having some fun here. The lists do take some time, but we're going to talk quickly. NFL is a league that preaches safety, and that's why they're calling these ridiculous penalties for everyone but the Patriots. But one thing that they always contradict themselves is while they're preaching safety, the owners also want more money. And the owners, what am I trying to say here? They presented over at a meeting earlier this week that they potentially want to go to a 17-game regular season and eliminate the preseason. Now, this has its pros and cons. I think they make money hands over fist more in terms of that one game over the 4 preseason games, so they're looking at it from a money perspective. Their reasoning is that the preseason has a lot of unnecessary injuries. A lot of starters aren't even playing, so why have them there? And just add one more game so it doesn't hurt the revenue stream for the owners. But you add one more full-speed game, you are throwing up the chance of injury significantly more than if they play a quarter in a preseason game. I don't know how you could breach safety and add any games. I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, it also depends on where current teams are at the time when they get to that 17th game. If they're already clinched, they may not even play some of the starters. So there you go with some people not playing. Yep. But I mean, not having the 4 preseason games, yeah, all right. It's boring to some fans, most fans, honestly. It really is. But these preseason games, they mean something to the starters because we've seen them. We saw them this year. They came out not playing any preseason games and they looked out of touch. But not even that. That doesn't matter as much as the fact that there are players on those rosters that they're not set in stone yet. They need those preseason games. They need them to get onto that roster to show that they can play when it comes to some sort of game time, to some sort of game speed. If they don't have those preseason games, then we're not seeing a lot of these players aren't getting put onto these teams because they just didn't do enough in a practice or in something. They needed to show out in the preseason. That's why we have it, so we can get these teams ready and we can know who's going to be on these rosters for the first week of the regular season. And it's unfair to not allow these players that could be near the cut list to have their chance to get into this NFL team. And who knows? Getting onto that team and then developing could make that player into a great star player. You never know what's going to happen. But I don't know. I'm not entirely in favor of it, mainly because these teams need these preseason games, honestly. Maybe not 4. I don't know. Maybe that can be decided, but it's tough.
I think we're finding out that 4 is too much. I think everyone basically universally agrees that 4 is too many games. A full month is too much. One of my main concerns is they're not doing as much full speed. They're not doing as much hitting, and they're not turning it on like they do in regular real games.
Yeah.
So these preseason games allow these players, the starters even, to at least move like a real football game and go all out, because you don't do that in practice. You don't get that simulation.
Because that's how you get hurt.
Exactly. And I think when you're asking these guys to go from 0 to 100 where it counts, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the injury number of non-contacts skyrocket again, because I think it's already up from what it used to be. Or it's already, we're noticing it more happening to bigger players because, again, we're telling these guys they don't hit in practice anymore, really. They don't really go full speed. Half the guys barely show up to involuntaries. And then they ratchet it up they barely play the preseason or they don't. And then week 1, we're watching bad football. Honestly, these first 4 weeks have been pretty bad. Like, flat out. This has not been a good 4 weeks in football. They just know that NFL fans just want football so badly that we're cool with that.
Yeah.
But in reality, we haven't seen good football yet. The games have been meh. Even the good games, quote unquote good games, have been littered with just bad play. So doing this, we're going to maybe get 5 or 6 weeks of bad football instead of just 3 or 4. So I'm a little concerned, and I think we're going to see a lot more injuries happen non-contact if they go to that type of schedule.
Yeah, they just need time. They just need preparation. They need game speed. I think that's fair. Maybe 2 preseason games, whatever. We can figure something out without eliminating it.
I agree. 2 preseason games and keep it to 16 games. Stop trying to add more regular season games. It's just so stupid. Speaking of new rules, the one league that has it right because they have a farm league, NFL, maybe you should catch up. The NBA likes to experiment with their new rules on a lot of guys who are kicking and scratching to get in, so they don't give a damn if they have to do some weird stuff. The NBA is using a new rule in the G League where a free throw is now only going to be 1 free throw, regardless of the infraction, but it will count for 1, 2, or 3 points depending on the severity of the infraction. This is something pretty cool, and it could sincerely be a game changer depending on how they dub certain infractions and what they do. Is a flagrant going to be worth 3 points? Is trying to, stop the clock, is that now going to be worth 2 instead of 1? I'm curious how they're going to go exactly into detail, and the G League is going to be the experiment. I'm super interested in this, David.
Hey, do you know who was doing this last season?
Who was doing it?
The Big Three. The Big Three was doing a single shot.
Were they?
Yes, 100% they were. Single shot worth 2 free throw points. And if you missed it, you didn't get them. So the Big Three was doing this beforehand. And it was pretty nice for the Big Three, though. I'm not sure if I like it for the NBA. I feel like you have to earn both of your points. And I feel like, you know what? It gets kind of annoying when the last minute of the game takes a half an hour because you just keep having to hit these 2 free throws. But it also adds to the intense atmosphere of a game when it gets down to that point. So I think it's fun to experiment. I think it is. And if people end up liking it, then hey, why not? Let them decide. But me personally, I like the 2 free throws.
I agree, but I feel like sometimes in certain situations when guys know, like there's a lot of times when guys get fouled beyond the 3-point line, they'll miss 1, but they're okay with it because they get 2 more. It changes the game when it's 1 or nothing. And I think in pressure situations, like you said, this is a game changer because instead of we're down by 3. Okay, I got fouled. I have 2 free throws. If I miss one, I can at least maybe get a foul and we'll only be down by 4. They could play that game. No. You get 1 shot and it's 2 points. You miss it, you get nothing. So you can't even salvage that. So if you're a good free throw shooter and this is your 89%, and this is your one and it's in a critical moment, you're screwed. I think it could add the pressure, especially if you get a big 3-point foul and I don't know. I think this adds pressure. I kind of like this because I feel like you add more points to something, it adds more pressure. It's the same mentality of when guys can hit an 18, 19-footer and then they take a quarter of a step back and they can't hit a 3. It's just the extra pressure right there.
Yeah, that's a fair point of looking at it that way. I mean, I understand it. But this is what they have the G League for. I think it's perfectly fine for the NBA to go ahead and say, listen, G League, try this out. If it works out, people like it, we may end up adopting it. But you guys are a farm league. Your talent grows there, so you guys try that out. I think the NBA is doing great by experimenting with their developmental league.
And I'm telling you, if I see a G League game on TV, I'll watch it until there's a few free throws or a few fouls just to see what it looks like, and it'll get some viewership up. Yeah. So it's a smart ploy. So we're moving on to another league which needs this. It needs stars. Major League Baseball, and I feel like Major League Baseball, it's in its lull moment before the playoffs, and this happens all the time in Major League Baseball where it has a little bump, and then it just goes away for a while, and nobody cares, and there's really nothing else going on, but it's so long. One thing that's been exciting all throughout the year is the New York Mets have a budding legitimate superstar in Pete Alonso, the polar bear, and he just broke Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees the rookie home run record, and he is adding on to it every day. Mm-hmm. And I think this is awesome because I love it when there's a legitimate rivalry in New York, and I feel like the Mets fans need this so bad.
Well, yes, they 100% needed this. Mets fans have been sad for a minute now. It's always their year until people always get 5,000 injuries on their team or someone doesn't show up. But they needed this. And you know what? It's always more fun when there's good rivalry in New York.
Yep.
I know a lot of people that are not New York fans probably hate New York sports. There's people that live in Jersey. One of our known buddies, Kyle Doctor, hates New York sports. But you can't deny the fact that when New York sports, there's at least a rivalry there and there are at least good teams, it's fun to watch. And we need that. It's good entertainment. It's good press.
Yeah, and K-Doc, we've heard on this show plenty of times on the Sports Opinions proper, he admits when New York is good, sports are good. He fully admits
Exactly. It's a fun time. It's always a fun time. And then if you get to see New York lose, we might be sad, but then other people are happy just watching that. It's the same thing like, a dynasty. Everyone wants the Patriots to lose. So it's fun to watch them lose. It's not fun to watch them win, but it's fun to watch them lose. Yep. So it's a give and take of sometimes these big teams need to have the power in order to watch fun entertainment.
And I continually do it, and I'm going to give him credit again. Brodie Van Wagenen, the brand new GM of the Mets, a lot of people were questioning him. They didn't know. He brought up Pete Alonso when the conventional wisdom was he wasn't ready. Freddie McNeely brought up. Michael Conforto's playing better. Mm-hmm. Edwin Diaz shitting the bed is not his fault. No. He brought in the best closer in the last 2 years.
Exactly.
The guy has done a hell of a job as a GM there.
He's done a lot better of a job than people wanted to give him credit for at first.
Still won't give him credit for.
Exactly. So he's done a lot better of a job than people want to give him credit for. The Mets season was lost. Then they rejuvenated a little bit. Mm-hmm. They did, and people were going nuts. I mean, they ended up being, they ended up not making the playoffs, but that was expected.
But this is all without Yoenis Cespedes, too. Let's remember, he does not want to play for the Mets. And what did Brodie do? Said, okay, we're going to build around other people. Mm-hmm. You can go kick rocks. Take your year. We'll get rid of you when the time's done, or you'll come play. Either one.
Yeah.
So, Brodie, big props to you. David, time to talk about our mascot.
Okay, so I know we don't have a lot of time left, so I will keep this one brief. Yeah. Everyone knows our mascot if you have listened to this for multiple weeks, Antonio Brown. Okay, so Antonio Brown, so what happened was Eric Weddle on Twitter, having a good day. I'm assuming probably drinking some coffee or something like that. He's having some kind of refreshment. Someone brings up AB. He made a joke about him. One person said, "Oh, but you can't even cover him." He said,
well, hold on. I'm going to stop you real quick because it started with Antonio Brown tweeted, "The game need me like test answers."
Yes.
I'm like test answers. Golden Tate quoted it and went, "What?" And then Eric Weddle went, "Definitely don't."
And then someone said, "You can't even cover him, Weddle." Weddle said, "Don't have to. He's not on a team." Fair point. Don't think you can argue that. So then AB and Weddle got in a Twitter spat. AB posted multiple pictures of him kind of sunning Weddle in a game. But yet again, that doesn't matter because, AB's not on a team anymore. But it was fun for me to watch this happen because it's just funny. But everyone's clowning AB now because of how insane he seems to have gotten. He can't even seem to spell "do" right for his college paper. He's now also filing a record 9 grievances and appeals to try and get back upwards of $61 million. How do you feel about that?
First off, everyone's going to look at it and look at the things that he posted of him stiff-arming Eric Weddle. And yeah, Eric Weddle's a little older now, so we forget how good he was. Eric Weddle's kind of like if John Lynch and Jim Leonard had a baby and it's just a little more talented than Jim Leonard and a little less talented than John Lynch, you made Eric Weddle.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good place to be. Eric Weddle's probably going to be, arguably when his time's done, a borderline Hall of Famer with everything he's done.
He might get in at one point.
Yes. So, he's a guy that could definitely talk some smack. I just found it kind of funny because he was just, he ended it telling him he's not making any sense. Glad you're not on my team. Call yourself whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me one bit. Good luck at CMU, my bro.
Yes.
And I think there was a little more after that, but it was like Eric Weddle just didn't have the time. He was just kind of like, this guy is the good thing he's not in the league.
Yeah.
About the grievances. This is just Antonio Brown listening to people. I don't think this is really him. I think this is his lawyers. This is people going, listen, you do these. If you get something back, you get something back. You don't. And I think this is due diligence. I don't blame him. I'm not going to lie. If there is a legal outlet to try and get money back, you do it. So I'm not going to blame him for that. No. I'm not going to knock him for trying to get money back.
No.
So that, Antonio Brown is absolutely out of his mind. And as each day passes, he's getting more into the T.O. Des Bryant, Ocho Cinco area of never playing football again. And I think he needs to, he's never going to listen to this. But if you do, Antonio Brown, take a look at those guys, supremely talented, just like you, all had some, I'm not going to say issues, but they had some troubles with their teams and with other people. And they could still play football, including Des Bryant right now, but they are not playing because of reasons outside their talent.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets it together.
Yeah. Also, what are we like on time? Because I would like to bring up one surprise thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we're close to 50 minutes. Do it up.
Okay. So I just want to bring this up because it's getting on my nerves a little bit. Okay, so this whole Baker Mayfield and Rex Ryan thing. What I don't understand, okay, Rex Ryan said, kid's overrated, one read player, everything about that. You can agree or disagree about that. My thing is, Baker, why are you making a statement? Your first part of your statement is cool. If you're not in the brown and orange, you don't matter to me. That sounds awesome. You sound like a leader. Then why in the hell, if the man doesn't matter to you, why are you bringing up that he's not wearing any colors right now? Can you make some sense in your statement? Because that doesn't make sense. If he doesn't matter, you wouldn't bring that up. You would just say he's not wearing brown and orange. He doesn't matter. Obviously, he mattered to you. Obviously, he got to you a little bit. He did. You can't dispute that because your statement says it. But anyway, he showed out. He did show out against the Ravens, which is good. We want to see you be good, Baker, but it's not unfair for someone to criticize you, and it is dumb for you to say that a person doesn't matter and then bring up why they don't matter because they're not wearing any colors. Whatever. If he doesn't matter, then why would you say anything? Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to get that out of me.
I like it. I'm going to bring up two things. One, I feel like with Baker, this is the reason why people love and hate him. And and it's because he isn't afraid to mix it up and say things and back it up. And this is what we're going to get out of Baker Mayfield, Dave, and he's going to do this a lot. He's going to say these types of things, but he's not afraid to mix it up. And I liked it. I like the statement. I think Rex Ryan came back Well, after that, before the game, it was like,
we're in the
if
brown.
I was in the black and purple, you'd be scared or something like that.
Yeah, and that was funny. But no, my main thing, I don't care if Baker goes at someone. I don't care. Just don't contradict yourself in the same damn sentence. You don't sound intelligent when you say that.
You're being like our sister Christina,
because
who was
you
also
don't
on the show at one point and be in the grammar police.
They're not even, but it sounds wrong. Like you're just at least contradict yourself in two different like press conferences. Do it after the game.
But if you break it down, he was saying basically that anyone that's not a Browns, their opinion doesn't matter, and he's so stupid that there's a reason why he's not coaching anymore. It was maybe it was mixed in the way he should have said it. He should have elaborated more, but he was shorthanding, Dave. He was shorthanding.
But if the opinion doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter if he's smart or stupid.
And another thing on Rex. Rex has always been a big bravado guy, but I feel like Rex is saying things he doesn't mean. I really think he's doing that now. I think he's saying things he doesn't mean just to be relevant again. It's really sad. And he's definitely bitter that he didn't get to coach Sam Darnold, because the smack that he's talked about Sam Darnold is insane.
Yeah, it's true.
He's bitter that he got fired by the Jets. He's bitter that he could not recover his head coaching career. He's bitter that no one wants him to be a defensive coordinator right now. And he's bitter that Mark Sanchez didn't have a modicum of talent that Sam Darnold has. And Sam Darnold might not even be the answer. So I think Rex Ryan is not – I think he's trying to be the guy that he portrayed himself to be, and he's not being himself right now. So
that's fair.
So, Rex, get it together. Baker, keep talking smack and confusing and pissing David off, because it's fantastic.
Rex, I still appreciate you because you're still recently one of our most winningest coaches.
I love Rex too, but Herm Edwards over Rex all day.
Oh, well, yeah.
You play to win the game. All right. Anyway, with that, we're going to close out this long episode of Cuesta Dose. Everyone, thank you if you got to this point for listening. As always, I'm Alex Cuesta. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at @_Cuesta30. Find David on Twitter at dcuesta308, Instagram at QuestaCola. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30, Instagram SportsOpinions30. Search for us on Facebook. Go give us a like and, chat with us. We'll say hi.
Yeah.
And if you also like what you're listening to, wherever you're listening to it, give it a review, give it a rating, either one if you can. And definitely go listen to all the other shows underneath our umbrella. I'm not going to say them again because they do every week. I'll skip a week every once in a while. But with that, everyone, this was another exciting episode of Cuesta Dose. Have a good one, everybody.